Welcome to the Dougie Wuggy Story Hour. Coming to you today from Cole Arts Camp in Oakland, California. Let's give it up for Cole Arts Camp. We are here on spring break in April. The year is 2026. Yeah, and I'm here with a group of about 15 childs. 15 childs. I guess we would use the plural children. Yeah. So today I'm going to tell you the first chapter of a story that I wrote called The Adventures of Joe and Jill. Okay. Now, do you want to know why I made this story up? Because my daughter, Julia, when she was little, she was 5, she said, "Daddy, tell me a story." And I said, "Okay, what about?" She said, some horses that get turned into unicorns. I'm like, okay. So then I made up this story. Ready?
Yeah.
It goes like this. There were these 2 horses that lived on a farm. It was a brother and a sister. The brother's name was Joe and his sister's name was Jill. They lived on a farm and they had an owner whose name was Charlie. Not the Charlie who's sitting there, but a different Charlie. And he was nice, but he was very poor. And he made the horses work very hard, plowing the fields. And he tried to give them good food, but he was so poor that he was not really able to feed them like fresh vegetables and stuff. It was more like hay and oats and stuff. But one day they woke up, it was the middle of summer, and it was very hot, like super hot, like 100 degrees. And Charlie, the owner, is like, "Oh, I'm going back to bed." So he went back to sleep, and Joe and Jill decided to go into the forest to cool off. You know, it's cooler in the forest, right? Because it's shady and stuff. So they went to their favorite spot, which is by the waterfall next to the river, and they lay down, and the spray from the waterfall cooled them off, and they fell asleep. When they woke up, you will not believe what they saw. They saw over 100 forest fairies flying around. And they're like, "Forest fairies, are we dreaming?" And the fairies are like, "No, we're real. We've seen you many times when you come here." And Joe said, "But we've never seen you." "Yeah, that's because every time you come, we turn invisible. Because we're shy and we don't want people to know that we live here." "But why are you visible now?" "Because we need your help. We're in danger." "You're in danger?" said Jill. "What's wrong?" "We are about to get attacked by the bad fairy army." And she's like, "Bad fairy army? What are you talking about? Fairies? I thought all fairies were good." "Oh, no, said Jill. "There are bad fairies. They live 10 miles down that path. And they are bad guys. They have an army and they have weapons." "Weapons?" said Joe. "Like what?" "Oh, they have swords, they have daggers, they have bow and arrow, they have slingshots."
Oh, I have a bow and arrow.
Yeah, and they want to attack and take over our fairy village. "Fairy village? Fairy village," said Joe. "We don't see a village, we just see trees and plants." "Oh, that's because it's hidden in the forest. Come on, we'll show you." And they go about a couple hundred yards back into the forest, and there was a town that the fairies had built. I would say it's about the size of this library here. Pretty big for fairies. It had schools, it had roads, it had houses, yeah. And it was like this really awesome town that they had built. And then one of the fairies said, and the bad fairies, they just want to come and have a war with us and kick us out and take it over. Well, you can't let them do that. I know. We have a secret plan to stop them. What's your secret plan? Said Joe. Our secret plan is to catch them in a net. Oh, a net. Where's the net? You're standing on it? And they look down. No, we're actually standing on the ground. Yeah, that's because the net is invisible. Hello. And they take their wands and they make the net visible. And the net was I'd say about as big as that whole bookshelf back there. And it was made out of very, very, very thin, but very strong metal. And the holes in the net were very tiny, so it could catch the fairies. And they said, okay, well, that's a good plan. Well, why do you need our help? Because we made it too heavy and we can't lift it. Oh, so you need us to lift the net? Yes, exactly. So Joe the horse gets on one end of the net. He picks it up with his mouth. His sister Jill gets on the other end of the net. She picks it up with her mouth. They lift it up, and then they stretch it out, and they tie it to the fairies tie it to two trees. And then they spray sticky stuff on there like a spider web, and they make it invisible again. And it's right where the bad fairies are going to fly down the path. So it would be like a perfect trap. They would get stuck in the net like a spider web. Then they'll cut the net. It'll fall on the bad fairies. And then they'll like wrap them up and throw them over the waterfall. It's a good plan, right?
Yeah.
You think it's going to work?
Yeah, because then the bad fairies never could get out. Can I tell you something? My mom told me good guys always win.
All right, let's see if the good guys win. Let's find out. Here we go. So they wait, and the next morning, the bad fairies wake up. And their leader, who's like their general, he says, troops! And they're like, sir, yes, sir, right away, sir. Huh? Up! Ow. Weapons! And they get their swords and their bows and arrows and everything. Helmets, armor. Let's get them. Let's get them. Let's get them! And they start flying towards the good fairy village, down the path, and they fly directly into the invisible net. They're like, it's a trap, it's a trap. They're stuck in there. Their wings are stuck like a fly in a spider web. Then they cut the net. It falls on the bad fairies, and then they pull it tight, and they're all trapped in the net. The plan worked perfectly. And then Joe and Jill, with their mouths, they grab the bag of screaming fairies, and they throw it over the waterfall. And all you hear is the sound of 100 fairies going, yeah! It lands in the river below. It goes over a second waterfall. Yeah! And by the way, the river is quite cold. The bad fairies start chopping their way through the net, but they're like, what the heck? We can't chop through it. They couldn't chop through it. It was like, it looked easy to chop through, but it wasn't. And the net floats 10 miles down the river, and finally, after like 1 hour, the bad fairies do chop a hole about this big, just enough to escape. And, but by that time, they're cold, they're hungry, they're tired, and they're like, forget it. Let's just forget it. Maybe we should, instead of making weapons, maybe we should just build our own village. Good idea, right? You know? Yeah, very good idea.
That'd be a bad idea.
And but meanwhile, the good fairies are so happy that their village is safe, and they tell Joe and Jill, "You helped save us, so we want to give you each a wish."
Wow.
Ooh, wishes. We like wishes. Yeah, 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 yeah. We love wishes.
I wish you luck.
So Jill says, can we wish for anything? And they're like, well, yeah, I guess we'll try and make it come true for you. So Jill says, I would like to be a unicorn. Can you do that? And they're like, yeah, hello, we're fairies, yes. And then they turn to Joe and they say, what do you want to be? I would like to be a Pegasus, a flying horse. And then they're like, oh, could we be both? Could we be flying unicorns? Oh, those are called alicorns, said the good fairies. Oh, yes, can we be alicorns? Sure. So they take their wand. They touch them first on their forehead. They get a big, beautiful horn. Then they touch them on their shoulders, and they have these big, beautiful wings. And they're like, how do we use these? How do you fly? We need flying lessons. And the fairies are like, just flap your wings. It's not that hard. Just flap, flap, flap. So they practice. And then they're like, this is so awesome. They had a little trouble controlling their steering, and a couple times they banged into each other and banged into some trees, but they were fine. A few little bumps on their forehead. And Jill actually flew into a tree and her horn got stuck in a tree. She's like, a little help here, I'm stuck. And they're like, oh yeah, you do need some flying lessons. Can you imagine her horn stuck in a tree? It's like, hello, little help over here. Kind of stuck. Okay. And they say, we got to go. Our owner's going to be looking for us. So they go home. And they go to sleep, and in the morning, their owner, Charlie, comes in the barn. He goes, okay, time to... Whoa! What the heck? How did that happen? And they're like, the fairies. Fairies! Ah! Seriously? Like, yeah, seriously. He said, oh, my gosh. I can't make you work for me now. You're magical. And they said, no, we'll still help you. So, but now they can get the work done very fast, because instead of taking 5 hours to plow the fields, they can just fly, dig the farm with their horn, and instead of taking 5 hours, it takes 5 minutes, and then they have the rest of the day to go visit with the good fairies. Yeah. But wait. There is a chapter 2, which I can tell you later, because Joe and Jill meet the prince and the princess from the kingdom. I'm the prince. And they go on another adventure. And that is chapter 1 of Joe and Jill. Give it up for the Dougie Wuggy Story Hour. Okay, see you next time. Bye. Bye-bye.